course, we had to squeeze 7 days of hockey into only 5 days because they were curling on the ice for 2 days, right? So in that first year, I was almost at the rink probably every morning at 6. I still hadn't had any kids in '74, and my boys were later, 2-3 years, but I got roped into being the president of the minor hockey, and I was coaching a couple of teams and refereeing the juvenile games. And I mean, I was just loving it, having an arena and being able to get everything off and running. But the one story that I think you'll all be able to relate to was the kid that came out on the ice with me tonight. He didn't have his blind set. He couldn't see probably 6 inches in front of his face.
All right, at this time, please get on your feet. We want to make some noise. We want to give them a warm Sunshine Coast welcome as we welcome representatives from the 1974 Minor Hockey Board of Directors for tonight's pregame face-off. Please welcome Jim Gray, President Trent Dixon, representing Vice President Ted Dixon. At this time, we'd also like to ask that Tsunami forward Cameron Ross and Pilots Captain Thomas Williams come to center ice for the ceremonial face-off. Thank you.
And those kids back in the day, they didn't always have an easy ride to the rink, right? Andy just told you what it was like going up that bumpy road to the arena. Well, I remember getting up at 5:30 and because I had to make sure that the ice guy had opened the doors. And here was this little native kid standing on the corner right by the Daily Roast with his hockey bag. And I had my old blue Chevy van. Tracy, remember the blue van, right? Had the Chevy van. And I pulled up, and here's this kid standing on the corner, and I said, Trent? And it was Trent Dixon. And I said, what are you doing? He says, I'm waiting for my ride. I said, who are you supposed to be getting a ride with? He said, I don't know, the coach, I think. I said, well, here, throw your bag in the side. I'll get you up to the rink, and at least you'll be at the rink. So as we're driving up to the rink, I said, so how's the hockey going? He says, oh, it's great. I love playing it. It's awesome. I said, have you had any games? He said, no, I haven't had any games yet. And this is maybe 3 weeks into the season, right? And I said, so how much fun are you having? He said, well, I got 113 assists and 42 goals. And I went, 113 assists? 42 goals, but you guys haven't even played any games. He said, oh yeah, no, that's just counting practice. So here was this kid that was 10 years old. He was counting every time in a passing drill. If he passed the puck, he got an assist. And if he happened, and if I scored a goal, that goes on his tally. So he had it all. He was keeping track of it all. But Stewie, as the first guy I saw when I walked in here, was after that very first season of minor hockey, we needed to bring in a big name for our award ceremony, our minor hockey award ceremony. We had it at the Seashell Indian Band Hall. So who did we get? We got Ernie Punch McLean, who was the infamous coach of the New Westminster Bruins. And anybody older than me would remember who Stan Schmiel was, and Kurt Fraser, and Ernie Punch McLean came up, and he wowed the crowd. He talked about the Bruins, and he talked about some of the kids that were going to go and have tryouts with his team down in New Westminster. So it's kind of nice, 50 years, Stewie, right? You tied that all together, man, I gotta say, right?